What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Kendra Andrews. She is the sister of Malika Andrews. I've spoken about Malika Andrews. Apparently, she made a big mistake in her reporting when she relayed to her sister on the NBA ESPN, I guess after game show they were doing, that Steph Curry said that their game plan was to whoop that trick. But Andre Iguodala, who plays with Steph Curry, said that he was hurt by that and that they don't see her. They see her as an outsider now. Now, he didn't in the clip, I'm going to play the clip. He didn't say her name, but through the person that's doing the reporting that put the clip of his podcast out there, because Andre does a podcast, fellow NBA player Evan Turner, he implied that there was a woman who misused Steph Curry's words and relayed it to put that out there as reporting, right? And this might have been something that was a joke that was off the record, and she used it anyway. And it really hurt, not say hurt, but it really pissed off Andre. And I think others in the locker room. See, Andre is an old school player. I still remember Andre when he was a young player with Allen Iverson. I remember when he developing as a player while playing with Allen Iverson. I still remember Andre. He was one of my favorite players to watch. He was a highlight reel. And he's become a veteran leader in that Warriors locker room. And I think he's been a big help to that team. So hearing him say this and how it bothered him lets you know that it's real. That this female reporter really messed up. And the fact that she is the sister of Malika Andrews doesn't... It makes it even worse, man. It makes it even worse that she's the sister of Malika Andrews, because they're trying to push Malika Andrews as sort of like the female face of the NBA on ESPN. And when your sister is out here putting stuff out here that was probably off the record in order to sensationalize her reporting, that's not good. And it pissed off Andre, because Andre is not going to let this stuff slide. Okay. Now, some of these newer players might let this stuff slide, but Andre is not going to let this slide. And that's why Andre addressed it. Now, let's get into this article from the Sports, or the Sports Rush. It says, Kendra Andrews lied. Steph Curry never used whoop that trick. Andre Iguodala shares how ESPN reporter misquoted a Warriors star to make her report spicier. Warriors veteran Andre Iguodala goes on record and claims Kendra Andrews reported something Stephen Curry never even said. The Golden State Warriors are back in the NBA Finals. It took 2 years and countless people telling the Warriors to break up their core, but the front office never paid any heed. And we're back. All they need was to get healthy. You know, Steph Curry has had some injury issues here and there. Klay Thompson. They just needed to get those guys back. And once they're able to get those guys back, now you see how that has worked for them. After taking down the Mavericks 4-1 in the Western Conference Finals, the Warriors earned themselves a week's rest before Game 1 of the NBA Finals. During that time, both Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala have been busy with their podcasts. While Draymond tackled Stephen A. Smith and Modern Day Reporting, Andre took on another reporter as well. Before Game 5 of the Warriors-Memphis series, Kendra Andrews reported that Stephen Curry said the game plan was to whoop that trick. Steph Curry has never used those words, ever. Steph Curry is always very focused. He never goes at his opponent. He never puts that stuff out there. You know, this is something that he would say to somebody as a joke off camera or maybe in the locker room. He would never use those words, because I go off of a person and their behaviors. You know, their past behaviors sometimes can show what their future behaviors will be sometimes, right? With Stephen Curry has never said he was going to whoop anybody. this is something I think Steph Curry said to her sort of like as a joke, and she took it in her reporting. Maybe he should have said it should have been something off the record, but maybe he shouldn't have to say that. This is what separates the good reporters from the wannabe good reporters. The ones that can report on what somebody is saying as far as a quote, and somebody is saying something that is a joke. This is why certain reporters have such a rapport with certain athletes, because they know what to put out about that athlete and what is just meant for off the record, confidential, right? But Kendra did not do that. And she pissed off a lot of people in that Warriors locker room. They're not going to say it publicly. Andre Iguodala is going to say it publicly. He's going to be the one to talk because he's a veteran. This stuff they would not let this go 15 years ago. But because of social media, they don't want to get trolled on Twitter. They're not going to say nothing.
Malika, I also asked Stephen Curry what the plan was tonight, and he just turned around and looked at me and said, whoop that trick. That is our game plan.
Oh, my goodness. Taking their own catchphrase and putting it back. Thank you so much, Kendra. I really appreciate it.
They are even surprised that Steph would say that. They are, and she still has this clip up. Maybe because, listen, I don't know if anybody hasn't reached out to her, but maybe they should. Maybe they should, because this is a clip from May 11th, and nobody has said anything. I guess Andre is speaking about it now, but this is this ain't good. Let's see. It was an answer that sensationalized tons of people. The Memphis crowd took it personally, and the Warriors embraced the same. However, Andre claims Steph never said so. Over the past few years, we've seen analysts give their hot takes and try and sensationalize crowds. The players have time and again spoken about how these hot takes are ridiculous. However, it seems like the same has spread to reporting as well. On the latest episode of Point Forward podcast, hosted by Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala, Andre talked about Stephen Curry using, or rather not using, whoop that trick. Yeah, I've never heard Steph say that. Like, Steph is very political with his answers. When I've seen Steph in post-game interviews, or even in post-game interviews, or he takes questions from reporters after the games, or even if he's being interviewed, Steph never gives any, like, he's very focused. He's going to give the political answer. He's never going to say he's going to whoop that trick. But see, that again, Steph might have made a mistake by trying to build a rapport with this woman that I'm pretty sure he wants to succeed at her job. Joking with her, and she's literally taking everything he said and using it in her reporting. That ain't good. That's not good. And that, to me, just shows how it's desperate. It's like you're trying to boost your own profile by putting out these takes, right? These hot takes when they're wrong, when it's wrong, right? But let's get into what Andre had to say, man. There's a clip here from this particular Twitter page, and let's take a look at what they had to say.
Sometimes I'll look at articles, I'm like, bro, rent must have been due. Because there's no way. No, it's funny, but it's not, because it's like there's no way with anybody with integrity, or you go to school or anything else like that, they're teaching you just to put out this nonsense, or it's okay to put out a false report, or it's okay to put out something that's half true. On another person's life.
That happened to us in the Memphis series. Somebody misreported something on the faces of our league, and it hurt me, because it's like, now we got to look at you like you're an outsider, and they're going to say it's not right, and why you got to do this person like that. But it's no, you false reported something. There's consequences and repercussions to all our actions, even when we make mistakes. Well, it applies to y'all too.
Yeah.
And that's him responding. Somebody, they actually put the clip here to match this, so people can get a full context of who he may be referring to. And he's referring to Kendra Andrews screwing up. and this is still up, by the way. Maybe she doesn't feel like she did anything wrong, or maybe Steph Curry has given her encouragement. Steph Curry needs to be a man and speak for himself. I'm sorry, because Andre shouldn't be the one to speak out for him. He should be able to speak up for himself. But unfortunately, Steph is not going to say anything. I'm not saying he should, but he should at least talk to her privately. Maybe have a conversation. Say, hey, look, could you publicly say that I never said this? But obviously, Steph hasn't done it. So Andre, being the veteran that he is, he's going to speak for Steph, even though Steph is a grown man that can speak for himself. He's going to have to do it because Steph doesn't want to do it because, you know, Steph does not want drama. Understandably so. I get that. But, bro, whenever somebody is playing with your name or reputation, we can talk about what is said about Steph Curry and what his wife and whatever, but we're talking about on the court. We're talking about your career. We're talking about your reputation and what is perceived, right? Unless Steph Curry actually said he was going to whoop that trick and then went back in the locker room and said, I didn't say that, it looks bad. One, you're either not standing up for yourself, or two, you said this to her, but now you want to play it off like I didn't say that. Like, if Steph said this, then he should go and say, hey, I said that to her. I didn't tell her to, leave that out. I just said it jokingly, right? So Andre, again, being the veteran that he is, he's gonna say, you know what? Let me go stand up for Steph, and let me say she's lying on us. This is gonna be used against us. They're gonna use that whoop that trick to hype up their crowds for these games. That's what's gonna happen. But, I looked around. Nobody's really talking about it, which is funny. Maybe they'll talk about it after I put my video up. That's usually how it works. People claim nobody watches you. But every time I put a video up, a statement is made. Okay, a response is put out. 2-3 articles are created. So yes, people listen to me, whether you haters like it or not. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll see y'all on the next one.